Hey everyone, it's Melissa with North Carolina Cooperative Extension, Edgecombe County Center. And in this video, I will be demonstrating our learning objectives from our 2020 Summer Fun program entitled Handy Dandy. Now in this video, I will begin by introducing your basic hand anatomy, talking about the muscles and bones and tendons that make our hand complex and unique. Next, I will introduce the American Sign Language alphabet, as well as a robotic hand activity. So let's get started. So first we'll start off by going over our basic hand anatomy. So lay your hands out like this and see if you can name the different fingers and the types of bones. So first we'll start by naming our fingers. So you probably already know that this is your thumb, and then you have your index finger or your pointer finger, you have your middle finger, your ring finger, and then your pinky finger or your little finger. This is the back of your hand, but when you turn them over, this is your palms. You can also bend your fingers to make a fist. That's probably things you already know. But did you also know that your hand is made up of many bones? First, we'll start with your wrists. So your wrists each have 8 bones. They make up your carpals. Then you have your metacarpals. Now you have a metacarpal for each one of your fingers. Then you go into your phalanges. Now your phalanges are made up of your proximal phalange, proximal meaning closer to your body. Then you have your intermedial phalange. Then you have your distal phalange. Your distal phalange is also made up of your fingertip and your fingernail. What's unique about your thumb is that it does not have that intermedial phalange. It only has the proximal and the distal phalange. So now that you know the bones of your hand, let's try to see if we know how they move. So next I want to try an experiment. Put your hands flat on the table and lift up each individual finger. You should notice that it's not very difficult to do so. Now put your middle finger under to where your middle phalange is flat against the table and try again. You should notice that it's pretty easy to pick up your pinky, your index, and your thumb, but yet almost impossible to move your ring finger without help. This is because your middle finger and your ring finger have a tendon that is shared between each other. As you can see here, when I move my hand, the tendon is connected to both fingers. Now when you flip your hand over, you can also see your tendons going up through the middle of your hand. Now this is the tendon that flexes your hand and allows you to make that fist. So now that you know the tendons and bones in your hand, let's move on to our next activity where we learn how to use our hands to speak. Next, I want to go through the American Sign Language alphabet. Now this alphabet is used to communicate with people who are hard of hearing or are deaf. Now I'm only going to introduce the alphabet, so at least by the end of this you can tell somebody your name in sign language. So first we'll start off with A. It's made by a fist with your thumb pointing up to the side. B, C, D, E, F, like a fan. G, with your thumb right behind your index finger. H, I, J, where you act out the J with your pinky. A K, L, M, where you make a fist but have your thumb underneath your 3 fingers. N, O, P is just an upside down K. And then for Q, you'll turn your middle finger up like this. Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So when I meet somebody new, I will say, hello, my name is M-E-L-I-S-A. Melissa. So next I'm going to go over our DIY robotic hand activity. So this is going to show you a little bit more about how those tendons in your hand work to flex your hand. So the materials that you will need are things that you could find around your house. You'll first start with 10 straws. At least 5 will do the trick. And then you will want to have string. I used mine in different colors, and this is a twine. It's something small enough that will fit down through the straw. You will also need construction paper. I think a cardstock paper that's a little bit more stiff will do best. You will also need a pen to trace your hand, tape to tape your straws to your paper, and scissors. The first step will be to place your hand at the top of the paper. You will want to make sure that your fingers are spread and your arm is also against the paper, so you can take your pen and trace around your arm and all the way through your fingers. Next, using adult supervision, take your scissors and cut out the tracing of your hand. Your next step is to bend your hands and bend your fingers where your knuckles would be. So next we are going to cut the pieces of our straw to go on our phalanges. I found it easiest to hold the straw next to the paper and then cut the straw to the correct length. Be sure not to cut your paper finger or your real finger, so you may need some parental supervision. You will do this for each bone or phalange in all of your fingers. The next step, we are going to use small pieces of tape to secure our straw pieces and our bones to our finger. Use 1 piece of tape for each straw and ensure that your straw pieces are straight and the tape does not cover the opening. And of course, repeat this step for each finger. So now that we have all of our phalanges taped down, we want to also tape down our tendons in our wrist. So I used about 3 different straws with the flexible piece over the carpals. And you'll tape them all down to the arm part of your paper hand. So the next step would be to take your string, and I have 5 pieces in different colors. It's long enough to reach from the tip of my finger to my elbow, and I will string that through the straw, starting at the distal phalange and going all the way through our middle tendons to the end of the paper. I then want to take the end of the string that's at the tip of my finger, fold it over to the back of the paper, and tape it down into place. As you can see, when I pull on the string, acting as the flexor tendon in my hand, I will be able to bend the finger. I will continue this step by putting string through the straws for the rest of my fingers. There we go, there's our robotic hand. So if I am trying to move, let's say my index finger, I'm going to pull my blue string from the bottom of my arm. So here's my blue string, and I'm just going to pull it just a little bit. So this is mimicking the tendon that runs down our finger, down our hand, our metacarpals, through our wrist. So that when I pull this string, it's like my hand would be flexing. So when I move this finger, you can see down here my tendon is also moving, and it's tightening through this hand, through my palm, and also pulling down in my wrist. So it's kind of the same with the other fingers as well. When I move my pinky, you can see my tendon flex through my wrist. Same with my other fingers and even my thumb a little bit. So everything is connected, and that is the goal that we wanted to learn through this activity. So you can just play along with your hands. Let's say I want to move my middle finger, so I'm going to find the corresponding string, the green one that's going through the green straw. So down here I'm going to pull my string, and then my middle finger is moving. So there we go. Okay everyone, thank you for tuning in to our handy dandy educational video demonstration where we talked about basic hand anatomy, American Sign Language, and building our own DIY robotic hand. So I hope you had fun. If you have any questions about 4-H or joining our club or any of our other programs, just go to our website and send us an email. Thanks, bye.